Today in the show, Real Madrid pulls off a lightning blitzkrieg to hijack Diomande from PSG. Barcelona urgently enters the race for Rodri due to a severe injury to De Jong, while Arsenal stands ready to blow up the market for Vinicius Jr. We talk about all this and much more right now. A dramatic turn has occurred in the saga surrounding the 19-year-old RB Leipzig Ivorian winger Diomande. Real pulled off a lightning blitzkrieg and completely seized the initiative from PSG. Just a few weeks ago, Diomande had a verbal agreement with the Parisians, but following a secret mission by Madrid representatives, the player shifted his focus. The Ivorian gave a complete green light to Florentino Pérez, agreed a personal 5-year contract until 2031, and explicitly told his agents that Real Madrid is now his #1 priority. After an initial proposal of 90 million euros plus 10 million in add-ons was knocked back, the Madrid side is preparing an improved offer exceeding 100 million euros in a fixed sum. Importantly, no loan back to RB Leipzig is envisioned. The footballer demands an immediate, permanent transfer during this very window. Currently, the PSG hierarchy is literally fuming over losing the player. But a fair question arises: who is to blame? They dragged their feet in negotiations and punished themselves. Back in May, the player openly stated his desire to play in Paris, yet PSG spent months quibbling over some 20 million euros, which for their financial firepower is mere pocket change. This stinginess played a cruel joke on them, granting Madrid the perfect moment to deliver a decisive blow. Now, in response, the Parisians have launched a media counteroffensive, suddenly jumping into the race for Rodri in a direct retaliatory attempt for the hijack talent. As for other suitors, Manchester City and Arsenal have dropped out of the running. The player closed the door on them, noting that he is considering only Real or PSG. Thus, if Madrid satisfies RB Leipzig's final demand ranging from 110 to 130 million euros, Diomande's transfer will be sealed in the coming days. What is your take? Do you agree that PSG is solely to blame for losing Diomande due to quibbling over pennies? As for the transfer of Rodri itself, a truly grand battle has erupted around the 30-year-old Ballon d'Or winner and World Cup champion with the Spain national team. According to available information, Barcelona has unexpectedly joined the race. The Catalans urgently entered the market for defensive midfielders due to a severe injury to Frenkie de Jong, who tore his lateral knee ligament and is sidelined for at least 6 months. Club representatives have already made an inquiry to the player's camp. The primary obstacle remains finances. Manchester City demands around 100 million euros, while the budget priority for the Catalans remains acquiring a new central forward. In parallel, Real is considered the main favorite. Rodri himself is interested in this move, viewing it as the ideal opportunity to return to Madrid. Initially, Florentino Pérez insisted on purchasing young talents exclusively, but Jose Mourinho and the board of directors are convincing him that the experienced Rodri is precisely the missing piece in the center of the park, following the departures of Toni Kroos and Luka Modric. Talks with agents are ongoing, though no official proposal has been sent to the English side yet. An enraged PSG has also crashed this race, simply retaliating against Real for the loss of Diomande, as mentioned above. They have already dispatched an official inquiry to Manchester City to learn the exact terms of the deal. Rodri himself prefers Madrid, but if Pérez hesitates with a concrete proposal, competing clubs will attempt to hijack the Spaniard. The most serious storyline of this transfer window is unfolding around the future of 26-year-old Real winger Vinicius Jr. As early as next week, the player returns from vacation to the club's facilities, where a decisive round of contract renewal talks is scheduled. The situation has hit a financial dead end. Vinicius demands a salary on par with Kylian Mbappe, namely around 30 million euros net per year, plus bonuses. However, Florentino Pérez currently refuses on principle to disrupt the club's wage structure. New head coach Jose Mourinho has actively stepped into this process. He is categorically opposed to selling the Brazilian, views him as a cornerstone of his project, and acts as a mediator in talks, urging the parties toward a compromise. In parallel, the English Premier League is closely monitoring this pause. Arsenal has entered a state of high alert. If Real and Vinicius fail to reach an agreement and the footballer gives the green light to a transfer, the Gunners stand ready to make him the highest paid player in Europe and shell out over 130 to 150 million euros for the move. Meanwhile, the option with Liverpool has fallen away. Representatives of the Brazilian made contact with the Merseyside hierarchy, but they immediately folded discussions, as all their financial efforts are directed toward bolstering the right flank. Thus, the Brazilian's fate will be decided in Madrid in the coming days. If Mourinho convinces Pérez to allocate the desired funds, Vinicius will sign a new contract. Otherwise, Arsenal stands ready to submit the loudest proposal of the summer. The situation surrounding 26-year-old English winger Jadon Sancho remains one of the most uncertain in the free agent market. Having left Manchester United on June 30 following the expiration of his contract, the player found himself trapped in a complex financial trap of his own past. The main barrier to reviving his career is the huge gap between the footballer's demands and his current level of play. Sancho's market value has collapsed catastrophically from 130 million euros in 2020 to a modest 18 million. His recent loan spell at Aston Villa turned out to be a failure, 0 goals and 2 assists in 23 Premier League matches. Previously, Chelsea had already declined to retain him on a permanent basis, precisely due to a reluctance to pay cosmic salaries for inconsistent form and discipline issues. Currently, the main contenders for the Englishman are Dortmund and Atletico. Sancho himself is open to a third stint at the German club, but both sides have set a rigid condition, a base salary of no more than 5 million euros per year linked to complex performance bonuses. In parallel, Napoli and Milan are monitoring the situation, while Turkish sides Fenerbahce and Galatasaray are the only ones in Europe prepared to approach his previous financial expectations, though the player himself is holding off on the Turkish option for now. Should Sancho stubbornly insist on a salary exceeding 10 million euros, the sole remaining market for him is Saudi Arabia. If he wishes to play in the Champions League and remain in Europe's top leagues, the winger will have to accept reality and agree to a significant reduction in appetite. A full-blown transfer derby is unfolding around the future of 27-year-old Milan Portuguese winger Rafael Leao. Fenerbahce and Galatasaray have launched an active battle to sign the star footballer, despite public statements from the Fenerbahce hierarchy regarding budget optimization. A club delegation is flying to Milan this week. The goal of the visit is direct negotiations with the players' representatives and the Rossoneri management regarding a permanent transfer. Meanwhile, Galatasaray has already made a decisive move, offering Rafael Leao a luxurious contract with a salary of around 12 million euros per year, including bonuses, in an effort to convince the winger to form a formidable duo with Victor Osimhen. Milan itself is leaning towards selling the Portuguese, hoping to generate 50 to 60 million euros to cover expenditures, particularly for the transfer of Gonçalo Ramos from PSG. The main priority for Leao himself remains the English Premier League, but Chelsea and Tottenham have so far limited themselves merely to initial exploratory inquiries. In the absence of concrete interest from England, the Turkish route is becoming the primary scenario for the player. While negotiations remain in the working phase, Rafael Leao will travel with Milan on a preseason tour to Australia, with departure scheduled for July 29. It is expected that during the tour, the player will hold decisive conversations with the management and the head coach, after which the transfer saga will enter its final stage. Italia!